You guys started to touch on EA. Phil, I'll start with you. Are there any, over the years, you've been on stage a lot now, especially as the head of Xbox, are there any sort of backstage near misses or last second changes or like improvised things on stage over E3s of past that would be fun to share now?
Fun. I don't, our near misses of gears crashing as soon as Cliffy walks out on stage. Well, even 2 years ago with Patrick when our sound dropped.
Battlefield?
Yeah, that was painful. I don't think of them as most of them as funny. I find them kind of painful in my past. I mean, pulling off a show like E3, and it's amazing. I go back every year and I kind of watch some of our old E3 shows, and you forget the old shows when there's like a curtain and somebody comes out from behind a curtain holding a controller.
Like Johnny Carson.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's a 90-minute television show, and it's produced, and it's a lot different than it used to be. But it's always somewhat of, even this E3 for us, with Rod Ferguson came out, he was playing Gears 4 on stage, and the HoloLens thing with
Brother,
Minecraft.
you lowered a car onto the stage.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was standing
died.
below that car at the beginning. But the E3 in general is just always kind of a stressful moment, but also such a great moment. I mean, this E3, I thought all of the platform holders showed up incredibly well. Where the games industry is, we kind of enter the third year of this generation. You're seeing the great content. Most of the stories about kind of behind the scenes, I just prefer to keep in the closet because they kind of drive me crazy. But maybe Cliff coming out and literally having the game crash as soon as he comes out. For those that don't know, usually what we're doing is the person on stage is playing the game.
Yeah.
There's somebody behind stage who's playing exactly the same game at the same time. So if something happens, we can switch.
Contingency plan.
And
What's the code name, Phil Spencer?
Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow.
And then
Broken Arrow.
And the third,
Blake Fisher kicks in.
then we go to video. Like at the end, we're just on video. But we didn't hit any video today. We've hit video a couple times in the past, but I don't think about them as funny.
Well, Peter Moore, you once paused a live session of Rock Band on stage.
That was funny.
I'm glad you thought so.
That was epic.
Actually, it was funny. It really didn't bother me. People thought I must have been embarrassed. I want to dig it. I'll tell you what happened. We were practicing, so this was 2007.
I was impressed that you were playing live, just to be fair.
No, we were all playing live,
Yeah.
but there's an issue, and I figured out what the issue was. We're all playing live. This was the year when E3 became a plumbers and pipe fitters show, right, in Santa Monica. We decided that all of a sudden E3 had got out of control.
Yep.
We're going to ratchet everything, but it's like when you
It was at the high school.
Yes,
Santa Monica High School, outside. So I was leading off with Rock Band. It was a great show. We had at the end, we had Halo, we had the choir, and it was fabulous. And
that was cool.
What I realized is I wasn't good enough to be able to compensate for the lag because
It's tough.
it was 50 feet away. And so Alex and Helen, I mean, harmonics. And in rehearsal, I stood at the end of the stage and I nailed it every single time.
Yeah.
But then showtime, I'm an extra 15 feet back with the guitar, and I realized, A, I couldn't quite see it, and B, I was like a millisecond out every time, and then I paused it, and then you start to fail. I remember shouting, "Get me back in, get me back in," and they couldn't get me back in. So, and that was Jeff Bell and Reggie Bush.
Yep.
It was a great show.